Hey guys, it's Kali here today and I am back with another house building video. For this video, I decided to create a starter home. It's a very small house, hence the name Tiny Living, and it is inspired by layouts of apartments. It's an open floor house and I had an idea what I wanted to do from the start. So I went in designing the layout and figured out where the different rooms would go before I went outside and finished the exterior. So it does look a little bit weird on the outside, but that's just because I had the idea for the inside and I sort of worked with it afterwards on the exterior, and so maybe the two don't match very well, which I apologize for, but I think for a starter home it looks pretty decent on the outside as well. So at first I wasn't really sure if I wanted to create a starter home, so I did go on a little shopping spree and I spent a bit too much money on decorating, especially the living room and the dining room. But afterwards I realized that I was very close to 20,000 simoleons, so I literally just put in a bed, a toilet, and a sink because I spent so much money on the kitchen and dining room and the whole open floor idea with the living space that I didn't have a lot of money left. So it is very decorated where the open space is, but it's not really decorated, especially the bedroom. I could have done better with the bedroom, but I didn't really have that much money left. So even though I had the idea of what I wanted to do with the layout in the house on the inside, the outside is another idea. The outside was a whole different story. So I did struggle a lot with the roofing and I tried a couple of new things, and at some point I think I made it work, but as it is inspired by apartments, it does seem a little bit weird when it's made into a house. Where I am from, actually, most people live in apartments and apartment buildings, and not a lot of people have houses. So I've lived in an apartment my entire life, and all of my family and my closest friends, everybody lives in apartments, so I've never really been experienced with houses and how exactly they're structured. So it was easier for me to create the layout as on the inside, and a bit of a struggle for the outside. So I did turn it into a bit of a family home. At least it has that vibe, and it's a bit traditional, but sort of on the modern side on the inside. I did have enough money to spend on a bit of nicer windows that I thought matched what I was going for, and we did put in a fireplace, so I do think that it turned out pretty nicely, especially for a starter house. I think you could put in another bedroom. There's definitely room on the lot. Not exactly sure. I couldn't put in 2 bedrooms because I was short on money. But you can always do that when your Sims move in and they start earning money and they decide that they want to have kids or something. It's all up to you. So I did create this little deck area in front, and I think it looks really cute. And after I created it, I decided to push in the roof a bit up front, so it sort of covers the deck, and I think that's cute because it gives it a little bit of a shade and a bit more privacy. And we did put some columns in the corners of the fence, and I think it turned out pretty cute. Also, I was kind of struggling with the colors. I knew I wanted it to be a bit darker on the outside, to have as I put in some dark wood as a foundation and some dark roofing, even though I was experimenting with a bit of light colors, and in the end I think we stuck with some light paneling. I was wondering if I should put bricks in, but I didn't think that was such a great idea, so I put paneling that has vertical panels on each corner. I thought that looked very traditional, very normal. I went with a bit of a contrast. There is a light paneling on the outside and some dark doors and windows and fences, so there would be a bit more contrast. I also created a small decking area which we're going to decorate later on. And the bedroom actually has a door. It's like a tiny little balcony, like a terrace. I think it was really adorable. And I was trying to push the windows as far up as I possibly could, so there would be enough space on beneath them, and at the same time they would give out enough light, provide the rooms with enough light. So here we are putting in some more dark wood and the foundation. I was really struggling trying to find the fence, the color of the fence that went with the color of the stairs and the foundation, but as it turns out, nothing really matches. Like absolutely nothing matches. They're all different shades of medium dark brown, if that makes any sense. It's kind of irritating sometimes when I'm building and when I'm playing, because nothing really matches, and I know that matchy is not always the way to go, but sometimes I do want my stuff to match because it just looks a bit weird. I don't know, is it just me? Maybe it's just me, but it does bug me. So moving on to the interior, this is the moment where I decided that I wanted to create a starter home. So I started buying the cheapest furniture possible. And here on this separating wall in the middle of the room, I had the idea to put in a sort of an accent table and two stools next to it so they wouldn't take up so much space. But in real life, in an apartment, you can still sit on the stools and eat. Your Sims can't really use them, but I don't know, I thought it made sense, at least in my head it did. So instead of an accent table, I used some shelves, because accent tables are kind of they're not very they're kind of short, so when you put the stools next to it, if you sit on the stool, you can really eat on that table. So I was trying to find something a bit taller, and I couldn't, so I decided to stick with the shelving. And here I am trying some different types of shelves. But I also switched out the whole wall for a half wall. The idea was to sort of have the trim of the half wall be connected to the shelves. And at this point, I didn't want to use the moveobjects cheat, so I don't think I changed it actually. I think you can still see that the trim of the wall, the half wall, is a bit higher than the shelves. But personally, it doesn't bug me. If it bugs you, you can always move it with the moveobjects cheat. And here I really like the idea of having smaller cabinets in the kitchen because it is a tiny house, and I didn't really see the need to have large cabinets. And I put in the cheapest possible lamps, which I really hate. I hate those lamps, but they light up the house very well, and all rooms actually very well. So on the shelves next to the wall cabinets, actually I put in a few more shelves, which I'm doing for the first time as an idea, but I really like it, and I'm probably gonna do it in some more kitchen builds. And something that I always do in starter homes, I enlarge the TV, like the small coffee table TV. I use the shift and right bracket key to make it larger, so it looks like they have a big screen TV. even though this is just a starter home. And this is the moment I start figuring out the color scheme of the whole open space. And at first I was going for some neutral browns and beige, but in the end I think I go with purple, no, not purple, I go with orange and baby blue, a very light blue. Personally, I don't really like orange as a color. I mean, it's not my favorite color, definitely not my favorite color, and I really don't use it much when I'm building or playing, but as of recently, I use it a lot. I've used it in like 2 houses that I built in the last 2 days, and a few room builds that I have, again with the orange. I just found I found a certain type of orange, a certain shade in the game that I really like, and now that it's like a newfound love for orange, and I just want to make everything orange, which might seem weird, but you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. Here I was trying to figure out which table fit in best, and we did stick with a round table, which is kind of small, but there was only room for a smaller table with smaller chairs because it's a tiny house, and again using the same shelves. And as you can see, we did put in a fireplace, which I personally really like. I really love putting fireplaces in my houses and in my builds. They sort of fill up the space and they make it very homely and warm. So yeah, we did spend a bit of money on that. And here I wanted to put in a mirror, and I feel very there are not a lot of mirrors in the game. There's this one that I really like because it's tall and at the same time it stands kind of higher on the wall than the other ones, and it also has a lot of colors. But other than that, there's not really a lot of mirrors, like wall mirrors in the game. And I don't know why I decided to twist the table a little bit. It's under an angle. I really don't know why I did that, but I think it fills up the space pretty well. And here I'm putting in some decorations and some books and frames, and also there are these books that are you can put on shelves, the ones that I just put, that cost, I think they cost like 30 something simoleons. And then there are the ones that I put on the fireplace that are just 2 small books that cost more than 100 simoleons, and I really don't get the logic. You have like a stack of 5 books that you put on shelves that cost like a quarter of what 2 small books cost, and I really don't get that. But well, that's The Sims. I also really like that pot plant that I put next to the fireplace. And figuring out the colors of the kitchen, and there are those nice cheap books. Yeah, really nice, really like them. And also, I was kind of bugged that the counters and the wall cabinets didn't really go together. I mean, they were the same color scheme, but sort of didn't really go together, which I thought kind of irritating. And here I realized that I don't have a lot of money left, and I still haven't decorated the bedroom or the bathroom, and I also didn't have any walls or flooring. So I usually, the first thing I do after I build a house or a room, I start furnishing it, and afterwards I go back, and depending on what the color scheme of the whole furniture was, it sort of dictates what the walls and the flooring would be. Most people probably do it backwards. They choose floors and walls, and depending on what they choose the furniture afterwards. Well, I'm not like that. Maybe I'm just weird. So yeah, I decided to put very toned down colors in the walls. I don't see why there should be very vibrant. especially when it's such a small house. They can overpower the whole room. And this is a small decking area that I put on the side of the house. I was going to light it with some outdoor lamps, but in the end I didn't have enough money, so you can always put in a few lamps, because I think that the house looks really pretty. You know, all houses look really pretty when you light them on the outside, and when it turns into night and just the walls light up, it's really nice. And I put in some wall lamps here and there, and the computer, and it is completely usable. I tested it. Everything is usable in the house except the tools under the shelves. Yeah, because the shelves get in the way. But at least they won't get in the way of the stove, so the stove is again usable. And here I put in this painting that I'm going to move on the empty wall on the right. Here we go. And I put in a mirror. This is also one of my favorite mirrors. Yeah, I just really like it, and I really love putting it above fireplaces. And putting in some more decorations, and I think I put in a few rugs. I put one small one in the bedroom and two circular ones in the living room. And the circular rugs are really my favorite rugs, especially the fact that they come in all sorts of colors, and you can sort of overlap them, and I really like how that looks. So yeah, I think we're just about done. Maybe now we're going with some landscaping, and so at this point I kind of didn't have any money left, so I didn't buy as much trees and plants as I typically would, and I just stuck with some cheaper ones and overlaid them so they look kind of more voluptuous. And there are these two trees. Those were the cheapest trees I could find, and I added in some terrain painting, and I created like path to the sidewalk from the front door with some terrain painting. God, I can speak today. And yeah, here we are putting in some. I think it looks really cute. It makes the whole house kind of look finished. And I created a patio area over here, which I didn't have the finance to furnish, but you can always put some stuff like a chess table or some fitness equipment. You can always put stuff in there. And here I realized I did not finish off the bathroom, so I went in real quick and just put in some walls and some flooring, and I think I put in a bathrobe. Oh, and we do get rid of those two big windows, and we put in one smaller one, or two smaller ones. Yeah, we put in two smaller ones. So toilet paper roll. I never build a bathroom without putting a toilet paper roll. I know that's like a must for me. Does anybody else do that? Here's the bathrobe, and I think at this point I went a bit over my budget, so I started deleting a few things. Yeah, there we go. And we managed to we get rid of those really expensive books, and I changed up this plant with a cheaper one, and I think we're about to go into the screenshots. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Have a lovely day, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.